TC meeting. So, thank you. I'd like to do a roll call, please. I'm going to go do the Pledge of Allegiance. Sorry, please stand and join the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. Do a roll call, please. Here.
John Carriosha. Brian Myers.
Here.
Holly Smith.
Here.
Pam Cronin.
Here.
Tony Lopping. Pauline D. Pasquale.
Here.
Rob Wells.
Here.
Bill Witchell.
Here.
Brian Kramer is excused. We have a quorum.
Great, thank you. At this time, we ask for a motion to approve the June 14, 2018 TDC minute.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion. We have a second. Any other discussion? Any objection? No objection. Motion carries. And we'll move on to public to be heard. At this time, a public comment from anyone in the public who wishes to address the council. Please come to the podium. Thank you.
Good morning. Elaine McLaughlin for the record. I'm here as the chairman of the steering committee for the Friends of Cayo Costa Island State Park. I wanted to tell you a little bit about something we're very excited about. Tonight on WGCU, we will air for the first time our documentary that we've been working almost 3 years to produce with Mainsail Productions. It's a documentary that talks about the history of the pioneer families who came to Cayo Costa early in the 1800s, 1700s, even 1500s actually, the first ones. And all those people, it's an oral history of the survivors, the elderly people who actually grew up on Cayo Costa Island. Most of you know that Cayo Costa Island is a wonderful wonderful asset in our marketing program here in Lee County because it's the largest unspoiled island in the Gulf of Mexico. We have worked strategically to develop a marketing plan with the Tourist Development Council's help because you gave us the grant to originally fund the documentary. And so this documentary has already aired in the Tampa Bay area, about 6.7 million viewers in 7 counties in Florida. See that documentary. We are also looking at other markets like Minnesota. We have developed partnerships with the Captive Island Historical Society, the IMAG, the Edison, Winter Estates, many others. I'm sorry I'm out of breath because I ran in here. Many other partners here locally to make certain that we air this video wherever we can, locally and in key markets. So we appreciate your support at the Tourist Development Council. We hope you take the time at 8 o'clock tonight to see Mullet and Mangroves if you haven't seen it yet. And we welcome future partnerships with your organization. Thank you.
Thank you. I spoke to Eileen Saffron last night. She's all excited about it, so she's going to give me a link to it. Congratulations. I spoke to Eileen Saffron about the whole documentary last night. She's so excited about it, so good luck.
Yeah, we all are very excited about it, and we're having a big celebration event tonight out on Pine Island. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other speakers this time? Close public comment. Go on to municipalities to be heard. Any cities at this time? Any municipalities? We're just not here? Okay. Move on to the report of the Executive Director. Tamara.
All right. This morning I get to share May bed tax collection news with you, up 7.4% at $2.4 million. So for the year to date, that brings us at just under $33.4 million, an 8.5% increase over the same period last year. So far a very strong year in terms of bed tax collection. Occupancy for the month of May, according to STAR, up 6.4% to 65 The ADR came in at 133.97, up 2.2%, and the RevPAR was up 2.6%. Passenger traffic at RSW up 6.3%, 668,000, almost 669,000 passengers through the airport. And for the year, they too are having a very good year. 5 million passengers for the first 5 months of the year, 5.4%. So very good year so far. I am going to ask Jill Vance and eventually Stephanie Zinka to come up and give us our sales update.
Good morning, Council. Jill Vance, Director of Sales, and I'll be going over our sales activities. So here's a recap of the results of the past 9 months of this fiscal year's sales goals. First goal is to increase by 5% the number of group meeting RFPs sent to our hotel partners. And we need 156 more leads to attain this goal for the year. Although this number is behind pace, you will see in the results of our next goal that we are continue to send quality leads over quantity. So the next goal is to increase by 4% the number of group meeting room nights booked by our hotel partners from the leads that we sent them. And we only need 543 more room nights booked to attain this goal for the year, of which I'm confident we will get, since that number is ahead of pace by almost 8,600 room nights. The next goal is to host 125 travel professionals, both domestic and international, here in the destination through familiarization and site tours. And we now have attained this goal for the fiscal year. The next goal is for the sales team to hold 25 client events, and we have attained this goal as well. And the final goal is to increase by 15% the number of wedding leads sent. And I'm happy to say, as of the end of June, we've sent 172 leads, thereby attaining this goal as well. VCB on the road. Here are some of the sales team's activities for last quarter, and the one that I'd like to point out is the Helms-Briscoe ABC, the annual business conference. Both Jerry and Betsy attended this event. It's a 2-day reverse trade show. And as some of you know, Helms-Briscoe is a third party that has about 1,300 meeting planners. And we've already sent 6 leads to our hotel partners as a direct result of this show. And last year we wound up sending about 39 leads, 6 of which went to contract. Here are the highlights of the consumer travel agent team's activities, and the photo in the middle is a Facebook post from one of the travel agencies that we called on to their 250 plus followers. This is from our East Coast Florida Travel Agent Sales Mission, where we had 3 teams, including 4 industry partners, who educated over 60 travel agencies on the destination. And a big thank you to all of our industry partners who participated in our June meeting planner fam. Aaron and Betsy showcased what's unique in the destination for conferences to 8 meeting planners from the Northeast and the Southeast, and we already have 3 leads pending decisions from these meeting planners. Next are the upcoming activities for the domestic sales team. And I just want to point out a few for July. Jerry is presently attending the Access 18, which is the CES Annual Leadership Conference. You may remember that we did host their CEO retreat here in the destination in February, and we felt it was important to attend this event to stay top of mind in our goal to grow the STEM portion of the association market. We have decision makers from over 200 scientific and engineering associations who are in attendance at this event. And also, I'd like to point out that Aaron is presently attending FSAE Annual Conference, where over 400 Florida Association meeting planners are in attendance. And I'm happy to announce that our destination was just selected to host this event for 2023 at the Hyatt Regency Coconut Point. And the last show I'd like to bring to your attention is the Fraternal Executive Association Annual Conference. This is a new show for us, and Candace is attending it in our effort to grow the Smurf market by attracting professional fraternal events. Over 200 fraternal executives are in attendance, They plan professional development and leadership workshops in addition to alumni events and also board meetings. So we have a lot of room for growth in this market, and I think it's a really good fit for our destination. So I'm looking forward to seeing the results. For August, just a couple I'd like to highlight. Erin is attending the Smart Meetings East National Show. This is a hosted buyer show with over 60 meeting planners from Fortune 500 companies who book a minimum of 11 meetings per year. And also NAMO, National Association of Motor Coach Operators. They're holding their annual conference right here in Lee County at the Westin this year. This is a great opportunity for Candace to showcase what makes our destination special for bus tours to 60 motor coach owners and operators. And finally, for September, Erin will be attending Destination Southeast, which is also a hosted buyer show, with top-level meeting professionals that specifically they're looking to book the Southeast portion of the country. It's a wrap. Our marketing department has completed a new meetings campaign, and some of the new photos are showcased in this slide, and they've finished our first meetings video. So this video is a fantastic tool that we and our industry partners can use for presentations, trade shows, and proposals, just to name a few. So without further ado, here's our new meetings video. Are there any questions before I turn this over to Stephanie, who will update you on our international activities?
Any questions for Jill?
Thank you.
Thank you. Great job.
Before Stephanie starts, I want to say a special thank you to our friends in economic development, where we might have an in right now, who allowed us to tape their annual meeting. So you saw some of the footage from their annual meeting. It wasn't staged. It was an actual meeting going on. So we got disclosures from all the people that attended and such so that we could get real meeting footage. So big appreciation to Ms. Johnson.
Good to go, Tim?
Please.
Hey, good morning, Council. For the record, my name is Stephanie Zinke. I'm the International Sales Manager. I'll give you a brief recap of our activities in the past months. In April, we attended WTM Latin America, which is the leading global event for the Latin American travel industry. In addition to the 3-day trade show days with pre-scheduled appointments, we also partnered with Visit Florida to host a media breakfast for 25 travel writers and bloggers. Our Scandinavian team conducted a sales mission together with Visit Tampa Bay and Fort Lauderdale in 3 cities covering Stockholm, Copenhagen, and Oslo. The reason why we partnered with these 2 DMOs specifically is due to the increased nonstop airlift coming from the Scandinavian market into, in this case, Tampa. Iceland Air is now flying through their hub in Reykjavik, and they connect to 7 cities in Scandinavia alone. And the newest addition is Norwegian Air connecting through Gatwick into Tampa, which starting October 2018, which will also give us a great new connectivity into the Scandinavian market for the entire west coast of Florida. In Canada, we covered the Outdoor Adventure Show as well as the Visit Florida Air Canada Roadshow in Toronto and Montreal. And as Jill mentioned, we have some really impressive numbers when it comes to our FAM goal, yay. A great portion was due to the international FAMs that we've been hosting in April, May, and June. And at this point, as always, I'd like to say thank you for everybody in the room who has hosted us, treated us for meals, welcomed us, because we wouldn't be able to do it without you. In April alone, we welcomed 52 participants from the Netherlands, the UK, and Brazil. In May, the highlight was definitely IPW, held in Denver. We had a total of 145 meetings over 3 days with tour operators, online travel agencies, airlines, and media. Our international contractors, as well as Commissioner Pendergrass, attended U.S. Travel Association's IPW, which is a premier international marketplace and the largest generator of travel to the U.S. We also had our VCB team present, as well as 4 hotel partners. Jointly with Visit St. Pete Clearwater and as a co-sponsor of Visit Florida this year, we hosted our annual client event for 250 international buyers and media. Also in May, we continued with the FAMs, this time Germany, Brazil, and the UK. We included the Eurowings Influencer FAM, which was the first one we've done. And this particular Brazil FAM with Azul Viagens, which is linked to Azul Airlines, one of the largest airlines in Brazil, we met with during WTM. So this FAM was a result of the meeting we had. In June, surprise, more FAMs. We welcomed TUI Switzerland as well as 2 groups from Travel Counsellors the UK that included Travel Counsellors top 3 sellers from the Netherlands. For those of you that don't know, Travel Counsellors is one of the leading tour operators in the UK and actually has the largest independent travel company in UK and Ireland with a network of 1,800 agents that are associated to that network. And even though 80% of them are active in the UK and Ireland, there's other markets like the Netherlands, Belgium, Australia, and South Africa where they have agents actively selling. Our team also in Germany attended the Visit Florida Roadshow covering sales trainings and workshops in 4 cities in the south of Germany. And up next, you can see July it looks light on the schedule here, and I apologize for that shift there, and it shouldn't be like that, but please ignore. So July is really all about planning mode. The international contractors and myself are currently gathering and working on the new plan for the new coming fiscal years for each of the specific core markets. So needless to say, this would be a great time if anybody in the room has any shows that they may have come across and may want to introduce to us or bring to our attention, or any special interest for our core markets, please let me know. And then also, sorry, that wasn't supposed to happen. Also, our Germany team in August will be attending a Dare to workshop to train 100 agents in Frankfurt, and then in September we will be going to La Cita de las Americas in Fort Lauderdale, which is hosted by a show for the Latin American travel industry only. And then we will, for the first time, conduct a sales mission in Europe covering Germany and the Netherlands. We will do 5 cities, 2 countries, and all of that in, 4 cities, 5, never mind, I think I got this wrong now. Going back, in 1 week we cover 5 cities, 2 countries, and a full agenda with sales calls, workshops, evening events, and meetings. And we are taking 2 of our hotel partners with us to have this training throughout all of the different areas, whether it be tour operators, travel agents, and media. And this is really it for my part, so thank you very much. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out.
Questions?
There is a parking ticket here that somebody left. I don't know. I'll get it stamped for you.
All right, I'd like to welcome Judy for the Visitor Services Report.
Good morning. Good to be here this morning. Thank you very much for attending this great morning. I think we're going to have a lot of good information shared by every department today, including our Visitor Services Report for April through June. As you see, our statistics show that we worked with approximately 38,000 visitors. We also had the pleasure of working with about 3,400 international visitors coming in via Eurowings. That's always fun because we do have about 30 volunteers who are specially trained to work inside customs, which is just a real hands-on direct welcome to arriving international passengers. Obviously, our top 3 information requests, we like to track that with our volunteers. We think it's really important for us to kind of get a feel for what people are asking about. And Drillian just topped the list for our accommodations. You can see ding darling, that birding is so popular. And of course, canoeing and kayaking. And for our community and partner support, I did want to briefly highlight, of course you know that we did the Lee County Travel Rally. Nearly 2,000 tourism partners and community members participated in that day with us. The Eurowings inaugural flights, we did have special welcome teams. That was really fun because if you have not seen their flight attendants and their crew, boy, they're amazing people. I think they're especially trained to interact not only with the passengers but also with people as they board and deboard. And then, of course, in June we had one of our first Team Tourism Summer Lecture Series workshop called How to Be More Memorable in Group Sales and Marketing with Shauna Suko. Great opportunity for tourism partners to really kind of get some key information about group sales and marketing. I'll talk to you in a moment about what's coming up next. And I also wanted to mention to you for some of the great special projects that we had. There's a long list there, but the really fun one, we had 23 volunteers assisting Brian's team with National Seashell Day. He'll tell you all about that. It was really fantastic. And look ahead, we are helping our airport partners. I think I saw Brian here earlier. We're working with them on their triennial MCI, which is Mass Casualty Incident, Friends and Relatives Training Exercise, by providing teams of volunteers to work either as victims or family members of victims. And then, of course, our last 2 Team Tourism Lecture Series, we've got July 24th, The Art of Influential Listening. I just want to say, if you've not had a chance to listen to Kate Delaney, she's incredible. She's an Emmy Award-winning journalist. She has interviewed over 12,000 people, including presidents and CEOs. This is an amazing lady. She has 2 nationally syndicated radio shows, incredible. So please try to attend. All of these workshops are free. And then the last one of the summer that we have is Becoming China-Friendly, and I really would like to have Steffi Zinke talk about that because she and Fran Velasco were key in making this incredible workshop happen.
Thank you, Judy. And so we're very excited to host this China-friendly workshop. And I don't know, but probably you've heard it. Everybody's kind of talking about, like, China's coming. There's coming in big numbers. Just a little reference, in 2016, nearly 3 million Chinese travelers came to the U.S. And interestingly enough, this only represents 0.15% of the Chinese population. Another fact is that China is currently building 66 new airports, focusing on Tier 2 cities, which will provide very easy air connectivity for a lot of people for long-haul outbound travel to the U.S., and the U.S. is still #1 destination for long-haul. We all know, on experience, that non-stop airlift is key. 5 years ago, there was only 3 cities in China that had direct flights to the U.S. As of right now, there's 16 gateways with non-stop flights. 4.8 million non-stop seats annually service from China into the U.S. directly, which Brian is in the room somewhere back there. From an airport perspective, I think that's pretty impressive. And also, there is no non-stop service into Florida yet. We know that key airlines like Hainan and China Eastern are in conversation with MCO in Miami. So for Florida specific, just to put that in our perspective backyard here, China has made it for the very first time into the top 10 ranking of source markets for Visit Florida, precisely ranking number 10 in 2017, with a total of 286,000 visitors. And again, to put that into perspective, Germany, which is one of our key markets here in Lee County, represented 472,000 visitors into the state of Florida last year, ranking number 6. So why am I talking about all of this? Because I want to lay the ground and throw out a little teaser for all of you to come to our workshop on August 1st. What is the goal of the workshop? It is to introduce this particular market in more detail, provide you with trends, facts, and most importantly, behavioral patterns, because as you work with this market, you might come to find out there's different behaviors and different trends when we compare it to our partners that we've worked with for many years in the European market. We'd also like to provide you with the best knowledge and do's and don'ts to work with this market. The agenda for August 1st looks like this. We will have keynote speaker David Becker, who is the CEO of Attract China, an agency that has worked with numerous hotel chains, DMOs, and retail outlets to get them either China ready or strengthen their presence in China. We will also have a lady from Priceline and Agoda, which is a very strong OTA present in China, to give us the OTA's perspective on Chinese inbound to the United States and trends. And to wrap it all up, we will have an interactive panel discussion with David and 3 industry partners to identify the best practices and what we are currently doing, and most importantly, what we should be doing moving forward to become China friendly. So I hope to see you all there on August 1st. Thank you, Judy.
It's going to be fantastic. Please do not miss either of these last 2 summer workshops. They are complimentary. They are fantastic. Last but definitely not least, which is why I was happy to see Elaine, and I kind of just sort of threw up on her and said, "We love you, Elaine." Elaine always comes every year for Elaine McLaughlin Outstanding Hospitality Service Awards. The deadline is July 20th for all nominations. Please, please, please have your guests or your colleagues nominate some great customer service superstars. It's going to be a wonderful event held at the Hyatt, so please attend. And that's the end of my report.
Thank you, Judy.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Francesca Donlan, Communications Director, and I'm going to present some of the communications successes we've had this quarter so far. First, I want to talk to you about our impressions. So our goal is to get more than 3 billion impressions, which means we want to have eyeballs on magazines, newspapers, and so we hit the lottery this quarter with 1.1 billion, and we're ahead of pace. We're doing great, and I'm going to show you why. We've had some tremendous coverage. We get a lot of really good media coverage. I just picked these 3 because Best Speeches is always a great one to get. And 25 Best Airports is really cool, vacation idea. We don't get a lot of media coverage on our airport in general in mainstream magazines, so because I think we are one of the best airports, hands down, in the country, so it was nice to get recognition in this magazine. Also, Travel Channel, we brought down a National Geographic photographer. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about him in a minute, but he did a great job, and we got a lot of exposure in Travel Channel. Our international coverage is just as important as our domestic, so I wanted to show you we have contractors in Canada, Germany, and the UK, Scandinavia, and some of the coverage we got internationally. Best Dog Beaches, Edison and Four Winter Estates, and then Florida's Best Kept Secret in Sanibel. It is no longer Florida's Best Kept Secret because it's in the Telegraph. 2018 SATW. So I'm sure most of you in this room have heard something about that because we asked most everyone in Lee County to help us with this. It was 18 months in the planning. We had more than 75 journalists from the Eastern Coast, the Eastern chapter of the Society of American Travel Writers, and we took them everywhere. We had some regional partnerships, so they had a little pre-fam and a post-fam, but we had them for the bulk of the time. And for example, my group, just to show you the kind of things we did with them, my group, I took them to the Twin Stadium, Red Sox Stadium, then I took them out for pizza at Fine Folk, where they teach you how to throw the pizza dough way up in the air. And then we took them for a tour of Norman Love, and then we hit Gateway Brewery. So that's just one group. We had dozens of groups, and we had people in the VCB handle that, and sales help. Pam Brown, I just want to give a shout out because she helped create every detail of getting every one of those journalists from the airport to wherever they wanted to go and back, and all the stuff in between. It's a big effort, and it'll pay off. Recent initiatives. So this is a really fun one. I don't know if many of you know about the Ding Darling and Doc Ford Tarpon Tournament, but it's a big bucket list for some of our journalists. Well, for just people in general. It's a huge opportunity to go out there and catch a tarpon. This is some exposure we got, some media coverage in the Sun, because we brought back 4 guys who we had a few years ago who actually placed. They came in 5th. 2 of the writers hadn't even fished before, and then 2 of them were big, macho fishermen, but they placed the first time. Then they said, we want to come back, we want to come back. They were the BBC, huge publication, so we brought them back. Unfortunately, they did not catch a tarpon, but they still had the time of their lives, and I want to show you 30 seconds worth of it. the video, we had a media boat, just to tell you, we had a media boat with a local videographer, Joe O'Neill, and we had a local photographer too, and we were with them since 5 in the morning till they ended up at the party, not getting their trophy, but they were still super, super happy. I wanted to showcase a couple of the events that we do. I was at the North American Travel Journalists Association. I was moderating a panel. There's 3 prominent editors from magazines, and the conference was called How to Turn a No into a Yes, which is what we do every single minute around here. So that was great. And then Jackie Parker went to Visit Florida effort, where she got to talk to the editor at CNN Travel, Hearst Magazine's Budget Travel, and meet with more than 75 journalists in the New York area. And then Megan Contreras went to IPW in Denver, where she also met with international journalists and educated them about our destination. And just so you know, just to remind you, we do all of that so that we create relationships with these journalists, we bring them back here, we host them, and they write about us. And it's working because we're getting really good impressions. Here's the National Geographic event that I was talking to you about earlier, with the exposure we got at Travel Channel. This guy's name is Carlton Ward. He's a big deal at National Geographic. I mean, you can kind of look at him. Doesn't he kind of look like a big deal? He looks like Mr. National Geographic. Anyway, he was really, really nice. He taught everybody how to take pictures on their smartphones. People loved him. The journalists loved him. We got a lot of exposure, media coverage from him. And he wants to come back because he fell madly in love with the Ding Darling area. He's really appreciates conservation, and he wants to do more work with us. So we want Carlton to come back. And then this is one of my favorite pages, because this is the free stuff that just comes to us based on our reputation and our hard work. You know, when we get on these top 10 lists, I love the top 10, top 25, top 5. People share them, people love them. 10 most romantic places, you can read them. Best campsite, best islands, happiest and healthy places to live, coastal living, that's pretty good. 10 best beaches. So we get a lot of accolades. We keep them on a very long list if you ever need them to showcase. If you ever want to talk about how great we are, we've got lots and lots of lists. This is just an incredibly long list to tell you that we're busy. So we don't like to host journalists January, February, March, around Easter, and then right after that we just kill it. So this just shows you that we've been really busy. We brought some UK journalists who've never sailed to offshore sailing for transformational travel, which is really trending right now. You can see we went to the Boston Red Sox media event in Boston, hosted journalists. Charles and Julie McCool was really fun because they wanted to be in the National Seashell. They wanted to break the world record. So we brought them down. They were actually in the Seashell, and Brian will tell you some more about that. But anyway, we're busy. They're coming. They want to be here. A look ahead, same sort of thing. We've got people coming from Ireland, Scotland, England. We've got Shelley Grant is going to the Great Lakes Outdoor Writers Annual Conference to talk to the top talented outdoor writers in the country. We've got a Eurowings media press trip. Toronto, they're going to have a big cocktail party. It's called Travel Massive, but that's sort of what it is. But they're really popular and they're really successful. And then lastly, Island Hopper preview. So it's coming. It's the 5th year, and we're going to do something unique and different this year. We're going to go to Nashville. But the really cool thing about that is, because it's our 5th year, we've gotten to know these songwriters. It's become sort of a songwriter culture / family. We know them, they know us, they love it here. So we're having this preview event, and we're going to have 2 of the songwriters sing, but we put out a call like, any of you other songwriters who've been here want to come, just join the event? And 15 of them are coming. So we have like 30 media, but we have 15 songwriters. So it's really cool, and they're ambassadors for our community. They love us. So it's going to be a really successful party, and that'll kick off for Island Hopper to come. Now, I'm not going to thank you yet, just a second, because I have 2 quick things I want to tell you. So we do, besides all of that, we also do crisis communications. And we work very closely with Betsy Clayton, who is the Director of Communications for the county, and we tackle problems or issues, challenges, like red tide and blue-green algae. So what I want to show you, with Amanda's help, is, or whoever's doing it, Jackie, is I want to show you, I got a call last night from a GM from a fairly large property, and he said, Francesca, can you just explain to me the difference between red tide and blue-green algae and what this means? And I just assured him that we have tremendous resources on our website. And I just want to make sure that you all know that we are totally on top of this in terms of educational resources. We have all the fact sheets. We have frequently asked questions. We have webcams. We have the latest moat beach conditions. So during difficult, more challenging times, we also e-blast once a week about the latest information that we have. So we just want you to know that we have that information. We have it on our consumer page, and we also have it on our Lead VCB page. So where we are right now. So here's our Lead VCB page, water quality on the bottom. They're just showing you how to find it. So red tide status, red tide facts, moat marine beach conditions, just so you know that we are paying attention to this very closely, and we will get you the most updated information that we have so that you can tell your guests, your visitors, and you can give them this kind of information. And then lastly, I don't know if you've read the paper today, but I'm super proud of it, so I'm just going to brag about Tam. Her column came out today. It comes out every 2 weeks, and the reason we even have a column is because it's part of our goals is to educate the community about what we do and why we do it. But this one is pretty fun because it's happy birthday to the Shell Factory. So I just wanted to show you that. And it's got a lot of real estate there, and there's other birthdays too, but anyway, I'm particularly happy with this one. So that's it for me. If you have any questions, let me know. Rob?
On the water quality issues, and I guess this would have been a good one for Judy as well. I'm assuming that a lot of the volunteers in the airport are getting these questions, and how are we logging them and recording that as far as the concerns that are out there?
Actually, and surprisingly, we have not had a huge amount of numbers, not even enough to really significantly record. What we've trained our volunteers to do is be knowledgeable about the resources, and of course we do have handouts and information. I can say the common denominator is when people ask about it, it's not that they're worried so much as they just want to know which area is better to go in. It's like their mindset is, I'm on vacation, and I do understand what's in the media, but the visitors we talk to, they just want to know, okay, I'm here, where can I go? That's the best option, so I don't have to worry about this issue.
Thank you.
Well, in terms of the office, we've been getting a couple of calls a day. We're keeping up with that, of course. And as Judy said, the main focus is which beach can I go to, which is why we love that moat beach conditions report, because they're getting the latest information, reports directly from the beach, and that's where we pull it up and give them advice right there on the phone based on the information we have as well. So it has primarily been focused to this point on which beach should I go to today.
And from red tide to green algae, are we recording the comments coming in for each one of those things, or is it sort of just lumped into water quality? And if we are you getting more green algae concerns or red tide concerns?
It tends to be focused on water quality. That's the way they ask the question. Certainly, I think red tide is better known and better understood than blue green algae, for most people. So I think they probably, they're asking broadly, how's the water quality, which beach should I go to today? I don't think that it's specific. I can tell you every single email complaint we get gets printed and put in a book. I keep them all because, it's something that we want to be able to go back and track of. We've turned to that book many times over the years to share information with entities. And I also, Commissioner Pendergrass was in Washington last month. Is that right? Or was it the end of May?
Yeah, this was last month. I actually went to the Senate, the congressional delegation staff. I actually read some of the emails from the visitors who visited here and their comments about their concerns about water quality. And this was back when the red tide was still west of Tampa Bay. It hadn't made it south yet. So we were there trying to get continued funding for monitoring for red tide. But we actually trying to get that emotional aspect of it to the rest of the country, that this is how important it is, because these are the comments from our visitors after they've been here.
Similarly, I did reach out to some of the scientists and ask them if anybody was going to be doing any economics around this particular event this year. And doesn't seem that anybody is, but at this moment, but I kind of said, hey, I'm getting some reports from some of our businesses that, this might be the time you want to do some, economic analysis around this. So we'll see. We're sort of relying on the university system to do some of that, the graduate students in economics and in the crisis management program out of UF.
On the side that's different than that, but along the same lines, we just saw they pushed through potentially a large area to do this water treatment. Was that part of the original implementation schedule that's been now bumped up a little bit, or is that outside of that original implementation schedule that we all?
It was part of the original SERP that was actually approved back in 2000. They've been sitting on the last 18 years as far as funding the projects, and we still got to get funding for that. So it got pushed from the White House, but we're still waiting for the congressional approval for the funding for this is part of that. The bill was approved back in 2000, so it's been sitting for 18 years waiting to get funding. So,
thank you.
Okay.
And I don't think the news is all bad. I don't know what you're seeing at your counters, Rob, but last week, 2 of our guests that were checking out said that they were in chest-deep water swimming and that they could see their toes. And they've been coming here for many, many years. And they said the water quality out in front was really, really good. I called Tam and reported that to her because I don't think it's all bad news. We have a lot of bad news, but in certain areas, yes.
20 feet off of the pink shell, you can see 6 feet down.
Yeah.
It's clear, but we're getting great coverage, which is great. But the bad is we're also getting great coverage. I will say call volume and pace is taking a dive in the last week. It's going to be a tough third quarter. So.
Especially with the election year, and we're seeing on national news now, and that's what's being picked up. It might be a good idea if, I'm not sure if you separate those, any inquiries, any concerns that come, but it might be a good year right now to just kind of keep those separate so we can reflect back and maybe look at last year's, and we'll have some sort of a correlation of those numbers, because I think we're going to probably be seeing an increase right now, especially with the state of emergency and potential other emergencies declared. So it just might, for our own basis, look at those numbers and reflect back.
Absolutely, it's an increase year over year. Last year, we had a pretty good summer. 2 summers ago, we had a bad summer, if you'll remember. So it's that, but absolutely. This year would definitely be an increase in number of calls, for sure.
The comments that we collect at the hotels, is that something?
Absolutely. Happy to have you share those with us.
Okay.
I think it's good information. Even 5 years from now, it's good information. I know that sounds
hundreds.
right, and I understand that.
Commissioner, is there any additional support letters this group needs to send to anyone, or?
I don't think so this time. We did our resolution 2 or 3 weeks ago. I signed that to the President of Congress to help get that funding pushed up to make sure we get the dedicated. And it also has more flexibility getting water, more fresh water sent south away from our estuaries. So they got our message. We're continuing doing it between myself and the mayor of Sanibel and all the other local mayors and leadership. Everybody keeps pushing and pushing. That's all we can do for now. But we know you're here behind us. So
Fran, I can also forward you, the city of Sanibel just sent out our second series of call to action, federal, state, and local.
Right.
We'll pick up on that a little bit later in the comments, but I'm certainly happy to forward those to you and make sure you forward those to your council, to your any of your constituents, to anyone that you're working with, any organizations, because the more we have impact, and they're pretty precise and give you right where you can go and say what you need to say. So I'll forward those to you if you'd like.
That'd be great. I think we need to send a huge send out to Mayor Ruane. I've already done it with the commissioner, but he is out there really fighting with the other mayors, so he really deserves a lot of credit, and I hope you'll take that back from our group since he sat here so long with us.
And thank you for saying that.
But every day, we're constantly working every day on some
Right.
project. And I think just recently, you might have got the email from the city of Sanibel. Thank you for sending that nice message out last night. Where through the state, the Department of Health, it was a budgetary thing. they were cutting some funding back for monitoring some of the beach testing, and it was a budgetary thing. I think a lot of people even realized it was happening, but once we found out about it, it started a communication between our offices and the state, and the mayor, Wayne, and the Seattle residents found out about it, and here we are now. It was only $34,000, but we got it restored yesterday. So we got that letter back yesterday from the it's being restored, so we'll continue testing of all the waters. And we're trying to actually push some more monitoring, more testing when that was going on. So
Great job.
okay, thank you. Francesca, did you have anything else before we call Brian up?
No.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. We'll allow Brian to give his report. And while Brian's walking up, I'm going to tell you that when we get to for council's information, one of the things in your packet is some talking points and a list of projects that the county is pursuing, has done and is pursuing for water quality issues. I mean, there's constant activity around this. I know it gets highlighted when we have these problems, but this is an ongoing, consistent effort, public works effort from the point of the county. So.
Good morning, members of council. Good morning, everyone. Brian Osowski, Marketing Director. Today I want to give you a sort of a look back of what we've been doing in the marketing department as applies to summer and our summer campaign. And of course, the big news, I think the biggest thing that has now since come and gone is National Seashell Day on June 21st. 2 years ago we created National Seashell Day as our sort of self-proclaimed holiday as a way to market the area. We had Ginger Z with Good Morning America broadcasting live from Sanibel Island that year. Last year we did a big consumer activation in New York City, also did some media visits, and had Travelocity's Roaming Gnome visit the destination. And this year, figuring we wanted to do something here back at home, we thought, how can we engage our community and still find a new way to tell our destination story? And so the team came up with the idea to set a Guinness World Record. And I want to share some of the images from that day with you. Of course, it took place June 21st out at Fort Myers Beach at the Outrigger Beach Resort. This was the scene early in the morning. We put the call out to have people join us at the Outrigger between 6:30 and 8:30 a.m. on a Thursday, which was an incredible feat in and of itself. I think it's important to mention all of these people, or at least most of them, either walked to the site or they took public transportation. We partnered with Lee-Tran on this and bussed people in on the Lee-Tran trolleys from the beach park and ride from the north and at Lover's Key to the south, and it was amazing what a well-oiled machine it was. Actually, it wasn't just the VCB putting this together. There were other partners I'd like to acknowledge real quick. Of course, the Outrigger Beach Resort, Jeannie Bagos and Julian Clark, outstanding partners. Jackie Lezak and the Fort Myers Beach Chamber of Commerce, as I mentioned, Lee-Tran, and a special shout out to Amy Hoyt with Lee County GIS. There was a pretty big struggle for us to figure out how we were going to get the shape of a shell from an 8.5-11 piece of paper onto the sand. And with Jackie Parker's help, we reached out to GIS, they plotted it, and then had some surveyors come in with their high-powered GPS equipment to actually flag it for us. So just incredible teamwork for the day. This was the scene inside the registration area. I can't thank Amanda and her team and the volunteers enough. It looks like chaos, but it was a well-oiled machine. This is where people came. They checked in, they got their color-coordinated t-shirts and hats and shell necklaces, and were told what to expect for the day. These were the back of the shirts. And we also had some community partners come out. We had a massive hospitality tent. Here you see Rachel with Crow talking to some of the participants. Key West Express was also on hand. Participants young and old. I think I heard the oldest person there was close to 90, and the youngest was just 6 weeks old. Mayor Tracy Gore of Fort Myers Beach and Vice Mayor Joanne Champ were there, along with Tam, to welcome everyone. Sean Corey was our MC for the day, and while everyone was waiting in the staging area there, Sean was keeping everyone entertained. So we started moving folks out to the shell in through what we call the chute, because Guinness required us to have some sort of a containment area, and as you can probably imagine, it was pretty serious business when it came to keeping track of the numbers. This was a shot in a different direction. People were really excited about this. This was sort of like at ground zero inside the seashell. The Guinness judge, Christine, got up on a ladder and announced to everyone that we had indeed broken the record that was set by the Shell oil folks, Shell gas station owners in Turkey in October of 17. They had 855 participants. We ended up with 1,093. And the cool thing about this, or the funny thing about this is, as soon as she announced 1,000, everybody cheered so loudly that you couldn't even hear what the rest of the number was. At that point, I don't think anyone cared. So I have a video to share with you real quick that shows the world's largest human seashell from above.
It didn't take them long to disperse, that's for sure.
So just a couple of cool things about that. You know, we wanted to have sort of that time lapse from above, and there was no building out there that was tall enough, and we reached out. We were working with Matt Steves and Cadalgo Creative. We work with them a lot on our drone work, our drone photography and videography, and I said, Matt, we really need to really need some time lapse for this to show sort of how the whole thing came together. He did a lot of research and actually shot that time lapse, as you could tell, with the drone. It's been done before, but never that he could find for this length of time. So gave him a great opportunity to play around with technology a little bit. So while all this was going on at Fort Myers Beach, Judy and the tourism ambassadors at the airport were also celebrating National Seashell Day by handing out shell necklaces to a lot of the arriving passengers. We sent 7,500 shell necklaces to the airport that morning. And Judy, what time did you say they were all gone? 2 o'clock. By 2 o'clock that day, all 7,500 shell necklaces had been handed out by the volunteers, welcoming everyone and wishing them a happy National Seashell Day. So while Francesca gave you some coverage that her team has gotten over the summer, we sort of saved National Seashell Day for my report. You can see there that budget travel picked it up. Of course, we had a lot of coverage locally in the news press, and all the local television stations showed up. But we get real excited when Coastal Living picks it up and MSN. Speaking of Coastal Living, we also took over their Instagram account. Here's some of the shots from Instagram stories on Coastal Living, promoting the whole thing. So all in all, it was a fantastic day. Just from that day, 82.6 million earned media impressions. This doesn't even count the paid impressions that we got through our integrated partnership with iHeartMedia. So I think we are officially amazing. And I actually I brought for you guys to take a look at the actual Guinness World Record certificate that they presented us with. You guys want to take a look at it and pass that around?
While Brian's walking back, I mean, to conceive of this and execute it was amazing. I mean, I don't brag about them enough. You know how amazing the staff at the VCB is. I mean, they kill it for this community. And this event, just from beginning to end, was such a smooth operation. To bring, just think about for 1 minute, to bring 1,100 people to one property via public transportation early in the morning on a Thursday, and everybody have a good time and have fun and say things like, wow, and so many thank yous. I think for me personally, the interaction with the community was the most valuable part. We worked so much with the business partners, but not so much, citizen to citizen, and to have 1,100 citizens. Now, there were a lot of visitors there too, not just local community members, but it was really special, and just hats off to Brian and the entire staff of the VCB. I mean, the volunteers who helped, particularly, our colleagues in the county from Parks and Rec and Amy and the communications team. We had, so many people were involved in this process. Risk management, top to bottom, as you can imagine, everything. And then particularly Jeannie and her staff, they were amazing. It didn't feel like there were 1,100 people on the property at the Outrigger. That's why we picked that spot, that big white spot of beach. But the truth is, it just went very smoothly, very, very, it felt effortless if you weren't part of the team putting it together. I mean, it really was amazing. And so, really, Brian, genuinely, thank you for what you and the team did. I mean, all of them deserve a really strong round of applause.
Francesca called out and acknowledged Pam Brown for all of her help with SATW earlier. And again, everybody at the VCB and on my marketing team really chipped in and got the job done. I just want to call out Nancy McPhee. She's not here today, but she is amazing. At the center of the action, all the logistics, keeping everything moving, keeping everything on track, checking off all the boxes. I can honestly say that we would not have been able to pull this off without Nancy's help and support. She is officially amazing for sure. So thank her next time you see her. Rob, did you have a question?
Yeah, I was wondering, do you think it'd be too ambitious to send a letter to the Shell oil folks in Turkey? Challenge them to a Shell...
What's it say, dear Shell, ha, ha, ha?
No, challenge them to the record and encourage them to, participate in a Shell record smackdown, and maybe every 2 years we try to up theirs and they try to up ours.
Well, I would hope if that happens, I think we're just going to let that happen organically, Rob. I don't think we're going to put out a challenge. I did tell my team, if I ever come up with anything like this ever again, just punch me right in the face.
Brian, I'm just going to add, 'cause I went and participated in it, so I'm just going to add on this kudos to everybody. The logistics, the happy faces. I'm at the end of the line talking to people in line, and when did you hear about it? I heard about it yesterday. I'm from Ohio. There were so many people. It was hot. There were 30 groups that got out there. It took a while, but everybody enjoyed it. I don't know how you're going to go to the next level after that, but I know you guys will. And it was such a fun experience, and hats off to all of you, everybody and the partners. It was a fun day.
It was a fun day. Thank you very much.
And I hope you guys got some rest in the next 72 hours afterwards, because I bet that's at least what it took for you guys to catch up.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Great job.
Thank
Fun
you.
day.
So also this summer, literally just 2.5 weeks before National Seashell Day, we had our annual Lee County Day in Minneapolis with the Twins. Just so you know, obviously we're home to Twins spring training, and they're a great organization to work with. Every year, as part of our arrangement with the Twins, we get to go to Target Field in Minneapolis and do sort of a consumer activation, a Target Field takeover, if you will. And so here's some of the scenes from this year's Lee County Day at Target Field. This started with us handing out shell necklaces, inside the stadium, and it's sort of the last few years we've elevated it to have much more presence on all of the screens and monitors. There's the end of one of our videos playing on the Jumbotron. Assistant County Manager Glenn Salyer, who's usually with us, is not here today. was on hand with us to throw out the first pitch. And there's our dolphin and manatee and one of our oversized Adirondack chairs. There on the left is a co-branded beach towel with beaches in Fort Myers and Sanibel and the Twins that we handed out to the first 5,000 guests through the gate. There's Glenn with the mascot TC. On the right, Clyde the guide. He is the gentleman that gave our group a VIP tour of the stadium. And then two of our volunteers, actually, two of our tourism ambassadors went up to Minneapolis for the game and had their photos taken with our dolphin and manatee mascots as well. So this is right inside the entrance. This is a little photo vignette that we set up where people were sitting in one of the oversized Adirondack chairs having their photo taken. But by far, of all the photos taken that day, this was taken outside, again in one of our oversized chairs, my favorite photo of the day. Just kind of gives you an idea of just how big those chairs were. So this was part of the team that went up, Glenn Salyer and his wife, Jeff Milkey, Director of Sports Development, Pamela Johnson, Interim Director of Economic Development. There next to her is Brooke Salimi. She was one of our VIP meeting planners. And then, again, Clyde the guide. So quickly, just to catch you up on some of the campaigns and promotions, I talked to you about the Nat Geo campaign earlier, but it's wrapped as of May. And just to draw your attention to the number of entries, just under 195,000 entries to our sweepstakes and 7,800 e-news opt-ins. People were registering to win a trip for two to the destination, to the Island Inn. And they also will be taking advantage of a full day's photo tour with a Nat Geo traveler photographer. We do like National Geographic. Afar, this is the 6-month campaign that's still going strong, that incorporates print, email, social, and digital. It also has a sweepstakes component. It's getting ready to launch this week. This is why I'm bringing it back around. This is in partnership with the Hyatt Regency Coconut Point, and this is what the landing page on the Afar website looks like. We do like sweepstakes. They bring a lot of attention, get a lot of engagement. We ran a sweepstakes of our own called the Easy Summer Escape Sweeps. This ran for 2 months in May and June, got just under 94,000 entries, which is a really, really good number, considering we're the ones in charge of promoting and distributing the information about the sweeps. One way we did that was with our in-state radio campaign. Again, relax, it's summer. We call it Beach Babble Radio. I'm going to play the spots for you so you can hear them. This time we sort of took a different approach. We went with a sense of humor. These ran June 4th to the 24th, Miami, Orlando, Tampa, and West Palm.
Hello, Paul? Oh, Cynthia. He's not at his desk. He's on vacation? Beaches of what? Oh, beaches of Fort Myers and Sanibel. I know what a beach is. Yes, I know you deserve a vacation too. Hello? Hello?
Relax, it's summer. Enter to win a free getaway at FortMyersSanibel.com.
So the spots were meant to stand on their own, but this was sort of second in the series.
Paul, why aren't you in the office? You're working from home. Well, it sounds like you're on the beach. You're on the beaches of Fort Myers and Sanibel, aren't you? What was that? That was not a dog. Hello, Paul?
Relax, it's summer. Enter to win a free getaway at FortMyersSanibel.com.
So we have a really good creative team at MMGY at our agency. We do a lot of brainstorming, and this time we thought we'd have a little fun with our in-state radio. We also promoted the sweeps on two of our summer inserts. This was also distributed in those markets, and you can see there on the cover, the Easy Summer Escape Sweepstakes. We promoted that. And inside, a variety of different activities you can do in the destination. You see we promoted our One Shell of a Record, Guinness World Record attempt. And then along the bottom, those are 6 of our co-op partners that bought into this program. And that's a good segue because our new co-op for FY19, our new rollout is coming up. And I'll give you those dates shortly. So last year we had a really successful multi-county regional effort with our neighbors to the north and south, Charlotte and Collier. This year we're working with the Legionnaire again and also brought Sarasota in, as well as Visit Florida. Bringing this up again because it was originally scheduled for early summer but got bumped to late summer and actually just launched last week. And it's just under $250,000 campaign. You can see the target markets there promoting beaches, nature, culinary, and things to do under the brand The Beaches and Islands of Southwest Florida. So it's a really good example how we can pool our money, bring in a lot of partners, and bring a lot of attention to our destination. So what's upcoming? July 20th, we have our sales and marketing meeting at the Sanibel Harbor Marriott Resort. That's where you can come and hear from a variety of our departments, marketing, communications, and sales. We'll talk about our upcoming campaigns and activities, and we want to hear from the industry, have a two-way conversation, and talk about the fall. Then on August 2nd, as mentioned, we are rolling out, rolling it out, our new co-op marketing program. That's from 10:30 to noon right here in this room. And then in the afternoon, we will have our annual social media boot camp after lunch from 1:30 to 4 o'clock. Incidentally, you come to the co-op marketing rollout on the 2nd, and then co-ops will go live on August 21st. Is that right, Elizabeth? August 21st at 10:30 sharp. And as Francesca mentioned, we're all excited. We all work together on Island Hopper, September 21st through the 30th. And then November 15th is our annual Sales and Marketing Summit at the Westin Cape Coral Resort. And that's my report. Any questions? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you. Good job. Well, next, we have our new business, which is Pamela Cronin. 1819 Events Marketing Funding Requests.
Oh.
Your turn now.
Me. Okay, great. Well, so we had the review of the events marketing funding for 2018-2019, and we had a total of 118,000 in requests, and we spent quite a deal of time chatting about the events and working with the different entities, and we have, I think, there it is, great. We would like to enter a motion for approval for funding for $98,500 to 7 events that have requested funding. We have one that needs to provide us some more information, but we expect them to do so by the 20th. So we've included that funding in the package. But so I would like to make a motion for approval for $98,500 for the events marketing program.
I would second that. What did your question before?
No, second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion, Colleen?
I think the total we're requesting is actually 101,500. I think that's the balance. Correct.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so I will amend my motion.
Okay.
The balance is 98, okay. So $101,500 is the amount we'd like to fund. Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Thank you, Colleen.
One more time, you're requesting
118 was the amount requested, the total amount requested.
Okay, great.
So we're requesting funding for $101,500 to the requesting organizations. Okay.
And we have a second on that. And any other discussions, questions, comments?
Thank you for your patience as I'm learning, as I learned.
Oh, no, you were
I really
wonderful.
appreciate it.
No, new eyes are always great. So, yeah, no, it was wonderful. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Any objection? No objection. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
And council information.
A couple items in your packet. I mentioned the one item in particular, the one pager from the county. I think you'll find that very interesting and might be helpful as you're out in the community and get asked questions about projects and such. And then there's a market update from U.S. Travel.
Great, thank you. We'll go around. Does anybody have anything? We'll start with Rob. Do you have anything?
Not at this time, thank you.
No. Councilwoman?
Yeah, just a couple of things. I had attended the hurricane training preparedness at the Lee County EOC, and really informative. I think it was facilitated by Pam Brown and the other heads at the EOC. It was for the hospitality industry. I think it was well attended. It would be great if something like that hit the road. I think that if there would be a condensed version, basically what that was is it was looking at a model hurricane and what we do as in the hospitality industry for preparedness, how many days out, when the storm's first on, when we get within a week. So it really we were in this mock hurricane, and we had these different groups, and we all just learned better ways to take back to our properties or take back to anyone in the hospitality industry on how to deal, get ready, prepare, and what your game plan is. So thank you very much for that. I thought that was really, really informative. I gave my comments with the Guinness World Book of Records. I just can't say thanks enough for that fun day. I attended the Visit Florida conversation with Ken Larson. I thought that was really informative, just trying to get an overall view of all these pieces of the puzzle, which, all interconnect. So I appreciated that. I wanted to just go ahead and really say a thank you to Chair Pendergrass and the County Commission last meeting. We spoke about the need for those monitoring stations, and we're very fortunate that we now have these 6 monitoring stations that have been funded and will be in place, which will really help us to determine where some of our watershed issues are, the flows that are coming from our own watershed before, in addition to those flows from Lake Okeechobee. And, as a resident, as a hotelier, as an elected official, those are going to have a huge impact on helping us look at where these flows come from and how maybe projects can be put in place in the future to help just get a better understanding of those. And it's a direct correlation to certainly our tourism industry, because we're dealing with these flows and water quality, water quantity. In addition, I know, we spoke, Chair Pendergrass, a few times yesterday in regards to the Healthy Beaches monitoring, which was touched upon, but for those that might not know what was happening, there are 15 locations that we have weekly testing, and some funding was cut that it would go from weekly to bi-weekly, and then in some areas it was going to be deleted altogether. And certainly in this water quality state of emergency that we're in, it just was not, there should never be a time that we're not testing our waters, and especially now. And I know Chair Pendergrass had been in conversations prior to our call to action to the Department of Health and the governor's office, and we were extremely pleased yesterday to find out that those were fully funded. There will not be any gap. As we're getting these comments from social media, as we're getting the calls saying, what's happening to our waters, we certainly don't want to be in a position where we're saying we're not testing the waters as we should be now more than ever. So thank you very much. Appreciate your efforts. And it really helps all of us because it's our industry. So thank you.
Thank you. Bill?
Just watching trends, guest feedback. Typically, TripAdvisor's always been the big one for the hotels, but half of our comments now are coming through Google. So just a little thing to look at if you're not watching Google for your guest comments. It's increasing every month. So.
Right. Thank you. Colleen?
A quick reminder that the Lee County chapter of the Florida Restaurant Lodging Association, they're doing their trade show and expo next week on July 19th from 5 to 8, and that's at the Fort Myers Event Center. If you need any more information, just let me know.
Okay. So County Attorney Michael Jacob have anything to say?
No.
You've been
not
quiet.
At all. Not at all.
Okay, thank you. Amber, do you have anything else? Fran, do you have anything else?
I just have the list from the airport, and it's really good. I think you'll like this time. It's the nonstop destinations by airlines. So if anybody in the audience wants any, I have a few extra up here. Thank you, Brian, for bringing those if you're still here.
Thank you. Pamela?
No, the only thing I have is I am every single meeting for the last 20 years singularly impressed by what the VC TDCV does. And this week more than ever, you guys just do a phenomenal job. Every single one of you is exemplary in your positions. I am just so, so proud to be on this board. I just thank you.
Thank you.
And we miss this guy.
Yeah.
Hard to get used to not having him here.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you, and everybody have a great summer, and we'll see you back August 9th for the next meeting. So, meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Are we out in August? I thought we were out in August.